back to the second episode of the Braves podcast. I'll be your host, Callum Rattray again, and I'm delighted to be joined by Cole Stars. How are you doing, Cole?
Good. Yeah.
I'm very well, thank you. Good to have you along for this. So we're just going to have a bit of a chat. So to start us off, give us know a bit about who Cole Stars is and what you do at the Braves.
Hey, I'm Cole Stars, as we all know. I'm 21. I'm local enough. I'm Coatbridge, so I'm not too far away. I've been here since I was talking about it today in work. I've been here now for it's coming up on 3 years actually. 3 years in April. I came down and joined in with the gaffer and stuff at the kind of sessions to start with as a player, obviously. I signed in the summer of 2021, but it's crazy coming up in 3 years already. It's been a very quick time and it's an enjoyable time. But I joined here in 2021, player first. Started the season off in July. Was doing quite well. Was scoring a few goals. 10 games in, obviously I got injured, and from there it's been crazy how quickly it's happened. I went for not playing the rest of that season, just trying to rehab and get where I could in terms of surgery. So I tore my cruciate again, and the season here I tore it when I was younger at Mallow. Obviously that was, most people know that by now if they know me about here, but tore my cruciate the second time here. That second half of the season didn't play, just kept coming to games, obviously supporting the boys. It was a good squad that year as well, so got on really well with the boys, still talked to some of them, and then end of that season came and Gaffer took me into the office and he's like, what do you want to do? He put it on me. And I was like, I want to stay involved, but I need to wait in this surgery. And I just started to help him out around the place, help him set up training, help with the kits and just keeping the lads going. It was really just one of the ones, just keep your nose in. Because obviously if I didn't have a club, if I came back eventually, when I did come back, it would have been looking for a club. So the Gaffer was obviously pretty good with me and just say, listen, do what you can, do what you want. Obviously it was within reason, but just keep coming down, and I just done that till the end of that season. I ended up taking the GPS halfway through the season. I was doing a lot of jobs, and end of that season we got by that point I had my surgery consultation, and I actually decided against getting the surgery. It got to the point where I was enjoying the off the field stuff as much, and I thought, no, I'll have a good crack at the coaching game. The gaffer spoke to me and says, listen, I think you should maybe go and help out. Obviously we've got some teams in the academy, so Stuart McLean's got an under-18 team now, who are obviously our 2006 born team. They're now pushing on to the 20s, and some have been involved with the first team, so the pathway was kind of there, and I said, okay, I'll go and help him. I didn't think much at the time. I thought, I'll be going down to help this. I'd never met him, obviously. I didn't mean to help this guy out with this, obviously, boys team, and see where it goes. And from there, I loved it. Like the first couple of nights, Stuart was good as well. He just said, "You're going to take the lads. You've played, so you're going to take them." I think he was happy to get his feet up, mind you, but he said, "You're going to take them." And I just started doing the basics, passing, possession, wee bit of games, and from there, I loved it. See the element of being able to control the session and put out your ideas. It was great for me. So,
Would you say, did you sort of find that transition into coaching quite seamless?
It didn't even feel like a transition. It just felt like one day I was playing, next day I was in coaching. Obviously, at the time period, it was a span of maybe 18 months, but because I had the distraction of football, obviously I'm quite into the gym, so that took over the physical aspect. So I didn't miss the physical aspect because I was still training in the gym in terms of weight-wise, but the playing to coaching happened that quick that I didn't really have a chance. It wasn't like a decision, somebody went, do you want to play again or not? It just kind of spiraled into that was the next phase. It was, as you said, a transition, and it felt quite good knowing that I could just bounce to the next thing, and helped out with Stuart for about 3-4 months, and obviously the summer, end of the season came, we had a cup final with Stuart's team, and the manager took me at the end of the season again and says, listen, next season I want you as part of the first team coaching staff. And at 21, if you had told me that obviously when I was a young boy, I'd have been coaching at 21, no way, but it's obviously been really good, and this season's been different class in terms of my development and my learning process. I've completed my licence obviously, and learning from a pro licence coach is pretty good. Like he'll give me, like, he'll still critique me, he'll still go, come on you, and it's good for me to hear that, because obviously as a player you take it to heart a wee bit, but now I'm just going, right, he's not telling me that because he doesn't like it, or he's just telling me that to make me learn. So I'm obviously now in position, it's 2024, and I'm a first team coach at 21 in the Lowland League, so it's been pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we can probably go a bit into that story a bit deeper going on, but sort of just looking at the here and now, what are your general responsibilities? We see you around a lot, doing a lot of different jobs on a match day, but what would you sort of, if you had to summarise what you actually get up to these days?
I don't know. Throughout the week, so we'll start obviously Monday, it's working, so I work a job as well, so I'm full time in the job, so I'm 8:30 till 5 working. Monday I've got nothing at night, it's gym. I'll just do it throughout the week if you want me to do that. Tuesday night it's work and then straight to football. So when I come down here, straight for the off, we're in the office with the manager, myself, Ross and Dorian, so obviously the first team staff. Leanne will come in and do the injury update and whatnot, we'll get the numbers for training. The gaffer will kind of plan the session for there, who will do what jobs. I tend to take a pretty large, as you see, a large amount of training now. So it tends to be before the gaffer's tactical element. I take the first 45 to an hour. Me and Dorian will obviously take some of that as well, but we'll take the general football stuff, and that's the plan. But to go back before we start training from maybe, that's probably from say 6:15 to half an hour, say 6:45, we plan the session, then I'll be out. I'm really high standards. Like I don't like anything to go missing, so or to go wrong. So I'll make sure the balls are all pumped up, they're all pressurised, gauged. I'm regimented a bit now. That's listed. If I've got teams for that evening for training, I'll give all the boys their bibs. I'll make sure the GPSs are charged from the Saturday before. The boys will get their GPS, they'll get their bibs, and then we'll go out and answer your question outside on the tripod. But from there, that just happens, and it's reverse order for training. We'll get the balls in, get the kit in, and I just like to make sure that I feel accountable that way. Like it's my kit, and I know it's all there. So everything's gathered back in. Last night with training, I'll take the GPSs home. I'll do them the Wednesday night. I'll not do them tonight. I'll do them tomorrow because we're here tonight. But Wednesday night I'll do the GPS. Thursday night, so rinse and repeat. Thursday night for training session. Friday night we've got a 20s game with the Braves, and then Saturday we've got a first team game. And for there I just make sure all my responsibilities are ticked off and kind of sort of accounted for.
So a busy man.
Very busy man, but listen, it keeps my mind going, and I prefer it that way.
And then you work outside as well. Yeah. What is it that you do?
Work in the car industry, so I work for a company called Dingbro. So some of the boys in the work today got wind that I was doing this, and they want a wee shout out. So I'm working out so Dingbro own auto parts. So we supply garages locally there with car parts. I'm a car. I do like cars as well. That's another interest.
We've seen the BMW rolling up.
Yeah. So no, I like the cars as well. So I work at auto parts at Hamilton just now, but I'm at my home branch actually Airdrie, close at my house. But I'm learning up at Hamilton now, just a new role. So Tiger in the Hamilton branch wanted a wee shout out. So he's got a wee shout out there. Yeah, exactly. But no, I just supply garages will phone up if your car's in for an MOT and it needs fixed. They'll phone up and we'll supply the parts, and it's quite a good industry as well. There's plenty, obviously, stepping stones and stuff in that industry. I've learned quite a lot there in 2 years as well. It's good to have a good grasp on life outside of football, because you never know the minute football can change. Football's very variable, and obviously I found that myself at Motherwell as a 17-year-old boy. Obviously, finding out you've, in a sense, not got a career there anymore, it was frightening. I was thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? I thought football was going to be forever in terms of full-time playing, but it very quickly became it wasn't during COVID. COVID season knackered a lot of boys up my age, and it was really sad to see, because you mean the gaffer talking about it on the bus to Trinent on Saturday, like there's a generation gap now of like maybe 2001 to 2004 players that they've been hard done by. Like they're playing at a level they shouldn't be, and obviously some people have bounced back up, fair play, I respect that, but some guys were really set out and didn't really get a chance to go and prove themselves. So back to that, I ended up going full-time working after I got injured, because I thought to myself, like, this career might not work out for me. And I had to be honest with myself. There was no point in me trying to sort of bum along forever and hold on to hope. Obviously I'm very real. I don't like thinking to myself, I hope this happens. You need to go and do it. So obviously the transition to coaching happened through working experience as well, and the general life out. The bantering works brilliant, because obviously these guys, the football game, they're just going to Celtic or Rangers on a Saturday and singing songs against each other, whereas they don't see this. They don't. You tell them at this level, they start to get intrigued. And I can remember the first time we launched those kits there, the flyers went out and I was getting them out and working. The guys were like, oh, I didn't know this, and they stay 5 minutes away. Some of them stay in Larkhall and Hamilton, and they kind of came down to the games and they decided, oh, we'll have a wee look at this, and they're actually really interested and intrigued, and they do give you guys praise as well. Like they say, the media is tip top for, they go that level. We don't know the level. The level's, I'd say the level's grown massively since even another chat me and the gaffer had the other day. When I was at Motherwell full time, we played Spartans in it was the Iron Brew Cup, but it changed to the Turnip Caramel Wafer Cup, and we beat Spartans 1-0 then. And to think Spartans are now in League 2, the quality of player they've got, it's grown massively. You see boys coming down from a higher level to playing the lowland, and it's a good level now. When I first came, I didn't know. I came from League 1. I was at Forfar, and I thought I'll go and scoosh it, but it very quickly became it's a very good level, and the football was good. Like that's what I enjoyed. I went from Forfar in League 1. It was very competitive, and there was that gap between teams. You didn't have your obviously the first season I came here, you had Vale Leithen who were taking a good old smashing every week, and for it was points and 2 points for winning your league. You're going, that's tight, but I came here and the football was better. The football was generally better, so just obviously going back to work. I work full time, and the boys are intrigued by it and they love it, and they don't see the sort of other side to football. They just think football's a supporters game.
No, I'd sort of say the same with my university. Yeah. My friends coming into doing the Braves and don't know anything about a lot of people local, don't know much about the club, and then through me talking to them, showing them some of the media stuff we're up to, they actually do take an interest in it, and there's stories, and I just feel like it's one of the most competitive divisions in the country as well. Just look at our recent results as well, like the East Kilbride games, and obviously the money they put into their squad, and we go there and could have won it quite easily.
So. Even Trinent, at the start of the season, they were fancying themselves for the league, and that was kind of well known. And you're going, for a team to be fancying themselves for the league, and Gaffer talks about it quite a lot, but the squad we had at the start of the season was completely new, and it wasn't quoted loan league players, it was players that we had found or knew or had info on, and Ricky trusts his gut obviously, and I've kind of put in a few players, like the original Scott Kuzik coming in a couple of years ago. I played in the Scotland squads, so that kind of happened about by obviously Gaffer going, do you know any players? And I just thought, I think Kuzi's locally stays in View Park, he's 5 minutes away, so just one text can open doors, and our players were hand-picked in a way, but whereas obviously these teams are throwing money. Like there's some teams that are seriously going for it, and fair enough if you want to go and win the league and you are throwing money around, but to go and compete when you're spending, I don't want to guess the difference in price, but you're not spending as much as them, it's shown that we have grown as a team as well, and the spirit's there now, you can see it, definitely.
And that seems to be sort of the way that obviously the Gaffer Ricky likes to build his squads, a lot of younger players coming in and sort of transition back to yourself. I suppose that's how you might have found your way here as well. So to go back in a bit deeper into your career then, so you came through Motherwell, of course, as you mentioned, and it's quite a highly rated youth system in the local area. So what was your youth career with Motherwell like then?
So the season I signed for Motherwell, I'd played with Airdrie Boys Club the season before. Individually done really well and scored a lot of goals, won 3 trophies, and it just, I knew it hit the ceiling with the Boys Club level. My dad, I kind of wanted to continue with him. I love playing with my pals, and I was very late into pro youth, so my dad was like, listen, you need to go and do this extra step, and I was like, I like it, and he's like, no, you're just going to do the same thing every week, you're not going to improve anymore. He says, you need to go and play with better players and learn from other coaches, and he wasn't putting anyone down, he was just realising that the next step was there, and I didn't know much of it, because obviously I was kind of a later developer in terms of ability. Up until maybe 11, 12 years old, I was average player. I played midfield, I wasn't quick, I wasn't pacey. And at 12 I took a stretch and became a pacey striker. It just happened throughout a year. And then I signed for Motherwell around about, I'd been 13 years old, and went in there. First season, the team that I joined, Jack Brown was part of that. So obviously hearing that the team had been unbeaten for 2 years, I was walking into that. I was going,
geez, a bit pressure there.
Yeah, and I knew walking into it, the striker had scored 69 goals the season before. That was the number he'd scored, and I think they'd only played 40 games. And obviously pro youth, there's no league trophy of that, so they hadn't up or down, but he was like top scorer in the league, and I'm going, I wanted to try and knock this guy off his mantle. Walked in, first game bench, I was like, I'm not used to playing the bench, what's going on? Partick Thistle away, we went 1-0 down after 30, I remember the first game, it was Partick Thistle at Lock Inch, and they went 1-0 down at first half, and at half time, and the coach at the time, Graham Scott, he really helped me, because he was one of the coaches that he didn't go into really great depth tactically, but he'd get in your head in terms of, he'd get right on your case. And I didn't know as a young boy I needed that. Most of my coaches were arm round, it's all right, you're doing well, but see, because it was proper competitive football again, he was like listen, Stars, go on there and do a job, and I was like, all right, cool. Brought one at half time, and I scored 2, and from there it just kept, I started every week, I scored, and I ended up keeping that boy at the team to the point, I don't think he'd played all season, he ended up leaving, he went to Queen's Park, but it wasn't I liked him, me and Ali got on really well, and it was one of the ones that he was like, listen, I can't complain, you've took the 9 jersey off me and obviously done really well. So for there, a couple of years at youth level, I represented the national team. It wasn't like massive milestones, because you can't win trophies at pro youth level, so I'd scored every season, I scored a lot of goals, 2 or 3 seasons up to the age of 15, and I was in and around the reserves at that point, made my reserve debut after coming back from Scotland. It was 20s at the time. Stephen Craigan was the coach. He'd phoned my dad on a Sunday morning. Me and my dad woke up after I'd been out at the cinema the night before, phoned me the Sunday morning, he's like, listen, Cole's in the 20 squad today, he has to come to Airdrie Stadium. ended up being in around the 20 squad on the bench against Morton. Didn't come on, made 2 sending-offs. And then a week later made my debut against Inverness Cali at Fourth Bank Stadium. That was our home ground at the time. Came on at Ibrox against Rangers 20s. So for there it was brilliant, and it came to Christmas time. I picked up a wee ankle knock playing with the 18s, and I was rehabbing to get back with the physio and stuff, and they ended up taking me in for a game with the 20s on the, pretty sure it was a Friday the 22nd of December. I can remember the date because it's horrible. And I went in, I was coming back from the injury. I'd been told, you're not going to play much, you'll come on for 5 minutes. Brought me on for 5 minutes, got to chase a ball in the corner, got to turn, ACL. And for there it was crazy because obviously I'd never had an injury throughout my youth career, a wee ankle knock, but nothing serious. And to learn that you've tore your ACL, the first injury you've had at 15, your life just turns upside down. I was still convinced, it's fine, and got scanned in the January down in Leeds, at Spire Leeds Hospital. Surgery in February, and David Henderson, the first team physio at Motherwell, had me back by the November. I'd never had any problems, no tweaks or niggles or anything the way through it. Obviously, during that time of getting the surgery, I was 15, I didn't have a job, I was still at school doing my exams, and that was the year, 15 to 16 is the year you get your full-time contract. So I was thinking, oh God, I'm not getting this now, because I thought it was finished. The injury at the time, in your head you're going, God, I'm never going to be able to play again. So it was sad, but I got offered the full-time deal. They put their faith in me, they paid for the surgery, and I came back and obviously played full-time for a good 18 months after that, and then COVID hit from there. So the point of full-time, I was never fully fit because I hadn't played a consistent run of games, and I was actually finding my feet really towards the end of just before COVID, and the reserve coaches were happy with me. I was starting to score in reserve games, I was having good performances, whereas the season before I was just virtually getting back to, it was like Bambi on ice. I couldn't find my feet, and the season after that I matured. I was in a dressing room with a more settled squad, and I was in and around the first team training. I just started to feel myself again. I knew I was at a level where I was getting Scotland training camps again. That was the thing for me, was always the national team. If you're getting picked or mentioned for the national team at the age groups, you're thinking, right, that just kind of gave me self sort of gratification. I wish it didn't now, because like the difference then, it doesn't really matter, like who cares, but at the time that was me, it was always like push, and I got back to good form at the kind of February, March time before COVID hit, and then it just stopped. Kept myself fit, I was obviously the fittest. I've just kept myself really fit. I was just going out every day, and obviously I didn't have a job at the time. I was still on furlough for Motherwell, so I was just going out every day, battering, running, bike, doing weights in my own garage. So I just gave myself the best possible chance, and then it was weird. We got a FaceTime call because they couldn't do meetings or anything, and it was to say about your contract. And I was saying to my dad for weeks, I'll be fine, I'm getting a new contract. I've been doing really well at the end and all that. And they says, listen, the reserve league's scrapped, so we're not offering a single reserve player a contract. And I was like, God, it just went silent. I think for about 2 days I hadn't focused on anything other than what am I going to do. And I wasn't gutted or upset or sad. I was just more confused as to like, why did I not get one. But these things happen. I just moved on quickly, kept training, in and trial with Queen's Park. When Ray McKinnon was the manager there, and he ended up passing me Stuart Malcolm's number, who was the forfeit manager at the time. Ray McKinnon was honest with me. He said, listen, you're a 17, 18-year-old boy, you've not played a minute of first team football, you're not going to play here. They just signed Simon Murray. He came back from Australia and they signed Simon Murray, and I was like, fair enough. Bob McHugh was there as well.
Was that the season, League 2, where they played?
League 2 season,
yeah.
The first season they went for it.
Yeah.
And he just said, listen, I think you should go in games. He says, we'll keep an eye on you, keep tabs on you, just keep the contact with the assistant, Laurie Ellis. I said, right, that's fair. I'd rather that than somebody going, there's a contract, you don't play, you sit on the bench. The guy was honest, fair enough. Went to Forfar, signed there within a couple of weeks. We'd played a couple of games up there, and the league was on and off. It shut down, COVID, we had 2 COVID scares in the team that cancelled 2 cup games you're meant to be playing in. And that season I just wrote off because it was 2 stop-start, the travelling was miles, the training was on and off. It was pointless because obviously we're testing COVID every night and stuff like that, so fine. And then came the Braves, so 2021, from the January 2021, I says to Forfar, I'm not coming back. It was pointless. I was playing a game there, I wasn't playing, it was breaking up, the league get stopped. I was like, you know what, we'll leave it, it stops you paying me, stops me travelling, that's a fair agreement. Stuart Malcolm was absolutely fine with that. And I just kept training myself again. I just thought, I may as well give myself the best possible chance. So within that time I got myself a part-time job I worked in Next. That was quite a funny time in my life, working in retail. It was hectic. But
I've had a month stint at Next as well. Over Christmas break, that was,
no Boxing Day off or anything like that. So yeah, I worked in there, kept myself fit, and then from there I signed for the Braves in April. And there, obviously, as you heard earlier, it just spiralled for there, and I can't believe it's 3 years since I thought about that there. Yeah, it's crazy to think it's gone up on 3 years in April that I've actually been coming down here. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It's brilliant.
And so, sort of to look back, obviously you've sort of mentioned sort of the timeline of your injury, your first injury certainly, and how did you sort of react to that? To sort of look back to those days as well, sort of. At a younger age, was it a bit easier to sort of deal with that kind of news?
100%. Like now, I don't know how I went through it so easy. Like the second time, dealing with it, and obviously I didn't drive the first time was probably like a good thing, because like when I done it the second time, I was just so eager to drive and be independent, and because I've got a different life now. Obviously, I'm independent and young. I'm young man. So
just to clarify, the second one was sort of just after you.
The second one was not about 6 months after I signed here. Yeah. I done it in September 2021 here. So obviously I was at a stage where I was 19 and I was driving and working, and obviously when you have to go to work to earn, and then you're off, you don't earn and whatnot. So and obviously I was earning pennies at that time and working part time. So you're having to give up your 3 shifts a week. You're not getting sick pay. It's obviously completely confusing. But the first time I was still at school, and I was into school and getting carted about like royalty. I thought I was in a sense I was like, this is actually alright, but I got comfortable when I was in a way. But as soon as the surgery was done, Davy Henderson and Aileen Anderson, who were the Motherwell physios at the time, I generally can't speak highly enough of them. See if, like Ricky's asked me a few times, Gaffer's asked me to maybe if we need a physio covered for a 20s game, I'll just go and speak to them, because I know they'll have a list of people that will help me out, and they were on my case in terms, not negatively, they pushed me like as hard as I could within the parameters to get me back. And Davy Henderson's first team physio, he's worked at Aston Villa, Newcastle, he's a Scotland national physio, and he's come over at your house to check on, and I'm like, this guy's awesome, like he's top of the tree in terms of physios for me. I can't speak high enough of him, and for there he just kept me in sync. Every single check-in was met, it was done strategically to a perfect, he was obviously very standards like me, he just wants everything done regimented, so he'd kept on me all that, checked in with me every single day, and that kind of just got me through it. Took my mind off it, because obviously as a young boy you're still playing the Xbox and talking to your mates for school, and I do my exams with the big, I don't know if you've seen them, a game ready machine. So it's like a big like, kind of plastic block, you put water and ice in it, and you compression strap around the area. So I was sitting my exams, foot up, writing my big ice box on, people, what's this robot doing? But obviously that was kind of just norm for me at that point, and went through my exams, signed full time, just happened seamless. But the second time was obviously disrupted by like, you're trying to come down here to do your duties, you think you're still going to play, are you going to play? It was all questions, but as the first time it was a no-brainer. Motherwell were sorting you out and you were looked after by the top of the tree, and obviously second time, part-time, the club can't sort of look after you as well, because one, where does the funds come from? Two, there's not obviously as much involvement in terms of you can't come in every day and do your check-in with the physio. Obviously Leanne works 2 nights a week, you check in with her over the phone, but it's not the same as being in the gym with the physio every morning. So you have to look at life differently when you're part-time, and it was a good eye-opener for me, because like now people talk to me and go, I can't believe you're 21, but life experience has been big in that time, because I've had to deal with obviously certain points of ups, downs, massive highs, really low lows. So there's been great points and negative points that you could go around in circles with, but obviously a mental things, you need to master your own head, so I just didn't let it affect me.
And would you say sort of being at Motherwell was an important thing in those days? You obviously seem to speak pretty highly of your time there. I mean, it seems like a really good club as well, players coming through. I won't ask your thoughts on any Taylor Swift ownership deals, but otherwise Motherwell as a club, would you say that's a place you were like really happy to be at? You know, obviously the way it ended wasn't ideal, but
it's weird. Like people, like, how can you not? It's like obviously if you have a bad breakup, you hate that person, but like I look at life like you need to. If you enjoyed it when you're there, you don't badmouth it once you're away. Like you can't do that. And the bad blood at the end, there was nothing, because at the end of the day, if I look back at it now, maybe I didn't do enough to get a deal. That might have been the reason. If that's the case, then fair enough. Like obviously that might have been part of the problem or the reason, whatever. But my time there was good. I enjoyed everything I'd done. There was certain people that maybe had a negative effect at the time, and boys that played there will maybe agree. But listen, I didn't let that bother me, because it was me versus me at that point, and you're working for yourself. At the end of the day, you know yourself. Somebody can't make your decisions for you. You go and make your own decisions. So my time there was good. Obviously the Taylor Swift thing, they can do their thing now, but it's not a bad club. It's good for the local community. You see them, they're obviously fan owned and stuff, and they're good for their mental health projects and all that as well. But the academy was good set up. It was all the teams trained at performance school in Motherwell. Obviously that was a good setup in terms of there. All the youth academies trained all the way up to the 20s. The 20s went into Fir Park as full-time setup. You played at the L Park. That's where you trained with the first team in the 20s. And if you're lucky enough to end up pushing up to the first team, there was a proper path there. So I couldn't complain. Put it that way. Like, my time there was good. I was looked after. When you made the national team, you were posted on social media as a young boy, and some clubs don't even report about any of the youth academy, it should be covered quite highly, because like if you've got a system there or an academy there, there should be like obviously exposure for them, boys doing well, attainment and stuff like that. So good achievement for them. I mean, obviously me getting the national team, they were getting you the Scotland flag, Scotland tops, and they were reporting your games and that. So it was good. It was definitely, at the time I was there. I can't complain. Obviously now I'm not there. I can't comment because I don't know what it's like now. But I'd like to think they're still running it the same way, because they did get a good few players through as well.
Yeah, I mean, recent years, you've had David Turnbull, obviously, Alan Campbell,
Jake Hasty as well. Players like that. James Scott even came through, and obviously you're still seeing. I played with him near the end when he was getting pushed through. Lennon Miller, he's one that's making ridiculous amount of appearances for such a young boy. It's good to see. Like, he's just obviously pushing up the national system, and his dad Lee was a coach there at Motherwell at the time. So obviously seeing Lennon go from he came in and trained with us one day, and we were full time from Daly's to school. I think he was 13. If you see him going for 13 now, he'd been a first team player. It's good, great for him. He just had an injury recently, and I like to see him. He's back already and doing really well. So it was good.
And so, looking away from your time coming out of the club and deciding to go to Forfar, which is of course a part-time club, what was sort of the thinking in your head there for? Is that when you started working? What you were doing at that time? Yeah. So
it's a weird one, because at that time I thought like full-time football was a given. If you're a full-time player, you're going to be a full-time player. Whereas it wasn't that easy. Like, because there was only first-team situations around then, there was no reserve teams. I'd been contacted by Hibs to get and train as a reserve player just after I left Motherwell, and within the week they went, "Oh, we've now not got a reserve squad." But I was like, I kind of thought that was going to happen because the reserve league had been cancelled. But going part-time, I had to get into a men's setup. So going from being training every day in like a development group to going straight into men's, where you're competing for that jersey every week, it wasn't like you have to give players game time or whatever. It was whoever deserved to play plays, and if the gaffer, who obviously was Stuart Malcolm at the time, he had these players that he'd had for years, and he knew all these players, whereas I was a new boy in the group, never played first team football, small, puny, not aggressive, not physical. It was at the time quite surreal to me, and a weird one. Me and Cammy Bredner were there together actually. We car shared. So Cammy was on loan for St Mirren. He was obviously one of the reserve players that its contract was longer than the COVID point, so they put him on loan to Forfar. We travelled together, but it was one of the ones that it probably didn't work out because I wasn't ready, to be honest. I needed that extra. I'd only had maybe a proper 6 month stint of playing post ACL recovery, so I wasn't ready to go and play in a men's environment. It was quite obviously daunting to go in and really try and put the kind of the foot down, the work down, and get in that squad. There was guys that played 300 games in League One Championship and stuff. Stephen Doris, who at the time he was getting to the point where he wasn't playing as much, but he Arbroath legend essentially. And you're going, this guy's played 300 games for Arbroath, and I've not played a single men's game. It's obviously pretty hard to get in that team. But going part time, it was a weird change, knowing you were training every day to working part time. Training part time, obviously it's harder to get the amount of content in as a coach that you want to get in compared to full time. Full time you spread it over a 4-day working week, whereas part time you get maybe hour and a half, 2 hour sessions. So I just couldn't keep to the same level. I thought I was going to train myself, but you know, training yourself is not the same as competitive football training. So going part time, it was good because it allowed me to see there was more to life in football. And me and the gaffer spoke about that when I got injured again. He was like, "Listen, take a wee bit of time out and think." I was like, no, I want to be in here. And he's like, "There's more to life in football, Cole." And hearing that from a sports professional is obviously music to your ears, that you can go, like, relax. It is true. So going part time gave me a good understanding of how good I had it when I was full time. Like, now looking back, if you're telling me you get to wake up every day at 8 o'clock and saunter over and put your nice gym kit on essentially and go and train every day, it's amazing. You're getting paid for it. So I now appreciate the time I had at it. Would I love to be back in it? Yes, but it didn't work out that way, and I'm not going to sit and kill myself over that and batter my thoughts through it. you get on with it and you make do what you've got, and you obviously strive on to do better. So yeah, 100%. It was great learning experience in life. If I had stayed full time, I wouldn't have known what I had. Obviously, the good old cliche, you don't know what you've got until you lose it, and it's true. That was how it worked out.
Did it always perhaps feel a bit easy for you at times? Like, it sounds like you're sort of obviously working hard as well, but you went in immediately scoring goals and going through the ranks, and then obviously that injury strikes. Would that be sort of fair to say, or?
In terms of moving forward, was it easy?
Yeah, was it, well, at that age, you know, obviously playing, and then
I think my upbringing's been kind of like that way. You don't obviously. My family are pretty like headstrong, I would say. I'm not saying they're not sympathetic or whatever. Like, obviously, I was cared for, but everyone's upbringing is different. And I think I've realised that now as I'm getting older. I'm like, you can't. Nobody's going to think like me. So my upbringing was problem, get over it, work. How do you find a solution? So the gaffer always laugh. He texted me yesterday. He was watching a game and he wanted the teams for the game, and I sent him the teams, and I can't remember what he said now, but it was basically on the lines of, but like, you know how to fix stuff. And it was like, it's true. Like, anytime something happens, I'll just try and find a solution. It's just the way I've been taught. So that applies to everything I do. If your car window wipers are not working, what can you do? Like some silly example that anything that you can fix, I'll try and fix it. It's not something that I go, oh, it's broke, chuck it, or this is a problem, I'm going to sit and worry about it. Like, if you can try and fix it and you don't, then you've tried. But if you don't try and do it, you're never going to find out. So just always working through solutions. My dad kept on at me during, obviously, my first time I was obviously a kid. So my dad was kind of the one behind me, supporting me and making sure I was okay. And obviously he had the influence on the football side of things. So he would just always make sure I was okay and kept me going and kept me working hard. He'd make sure he would drive me to the gym and drive me to my appointments, etc. And he took me down for my surgery as well. So drove 5 hours to Leeds in the car, and just that mindset of just never giving up. It was just, it's weird. Some people still don't understand it, but I don't seem to get bothered by much. Like, I'm not a guy who gets all bogged down and stressed and upset. I just keep battling on it. It's just that kind of way it was.
Would you say some of these things, it sounds like what you're describing is almost what would make a good coach as well, not wanting to give up on things, and if you can apply that to people as well, would you say that sort of might factor into?
100% it factored into my standards now. Like, my standards now are like ridiculously, I'm almost probably bordering on OCD, but I don't care. I just like the way I live. I keep it clean, tidy, regimented. I just like everything done in order and making sure you've ticked it off. I don't like leaving things undone, and like, as a coach now, I'm making sure everything's done correctly and not by the book, but obviously at a good standard. I just want things to go right, and I want to push on. I want the boys to push on. At the end of the day, I don't think we get these results if everything in here isn't done properly. If you see people slacking and people not doing things right and do it to a lesser standard, you're not getting these results. So obviously you see the team developing, the boys' character developing. Their training's been really, really good recently. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So there's been some sessions at the start of the season where you're going like, oh, that's not good standard there, but boys have been bang at it, and they obviously compliment us as well. If the boys don't want to apply themselves out there, it's going to make my training worse, it's going to make the mindset in there worse. So we've been happy with that as well. I mean, I can't take credit for that, but I think the base starts from us as coaches, and we're obviously the senior figure to them in terms of we'll run the club essentially. So obviously Chris, the owners, he's at the forefront of it, but when it's down here at Alliance Park, there's only maybe 5 or 6 that are actually here all the time and actually like football and staff. So we're running the club from the playing perspective. Obviously the behind the scenes perspective is taken care of as well, which is great. But in terms of me, the standards have just always been set, and it probably stems all the way back up to like my papa as well. My papa was in the army, so like you'd go over to his bit, and if he made you a cup of tea, you'd clean the mug. It was just always that kind of thing, and just don't leave anything at your hand end. But I think the standards just come from setting the baseline and making sure it's stuck to that 100%.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting. So let's jump back sort of into that storyline we were going through. You had your time at Forfar, which was that one season, or was that under?
Obviously the football stopped until about maybe September. So it was September to January. It was so short, and it was quite good. It was short because I liked the fact I learned a lot, but I didn't enjoy it. That was the truthful fact, and it wasn't anything down to the club or anything. I was just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was 4 strikers, and I was into an environment that I didn't know, so it just didn't work out for me. I was too young. I hadn't played enough football, and I wasn't getting enough involvement. I was training the first night of training was good. I mean, training, but the Thursday night was just prep for the match day. So if you weren't playing, you weren't involved in much. You were just standing about, kicking a ball about for an hour. So I didn't do enough in that point. So it was maybe a 4 or 5 month period, if I'm honest. So.
And then obviously leaving there, that brings you to the Braves, of course, where almost 3 years now. So how did that sort of move come across for you then, and getting in contact with Ricky?
It was weird. So when I realised the season was starting back again, summertime, I'm giving people shout outs left, right and centre here, but I knew I needed to be back in football training. So I ran all the 20k runs, the half marathons, the 10ks, the 5. I was making sure I got all that done, but going down to the pitches with my pals, I was still blowing, like doing football runs. I'm going, I can run a 10k in 39 minutes, but I can't do football sprints. But the difference is frightening. So I thought, right, I need to get back in football training here. So I contacted one of my Airdrie Boys Club coach, Ricky Eardley, who at the time was taking, there was a Braves 20s team that played in competitive league down here. It's a different setup for the 20s now, but they were tied to the Braves. I'm sure they were like a boys club, but they were affiliated to the club. So I contacted him and I said, hi Ricky, I hope you're well and stuff. Can I come down and train with your team? Obviously I'm planning to get back to professional level, but I need to keep ticking over. I just hope you'd give me the chance to train. He just, within a couple of minutes, he was like, absolutely, come down tonight and you can just keep training from there. So I went down that night. I trained, they were training at Airdrie at the time, so it was only 5 minutes from the house at high school. I trained one night in the Astro, one night in the grass up there, and they had another coach, Stevie Collins, who's at Alloa now. Stevie's good as well. Stevie was straight to the point. He says, listen, you're wasting your time. I was like, how? I thought you were going to tell me I wasn't good enough. I was like, what? And he's like, you're wasting your time. I don't want your standards to fall. Because the boys I was training with, like at the time, I was at a kind of professional level, and these boys are boys club level. He's like, listen, I can see the boys that aren't taking to it well. I was like, how do you mean? And he says, the boys they're training, but they're obviously looking at you as if to say, who do you think you are, because you're down here training. I says, but I just want to come down and train and play football and love it. I said, I'm loving playing. These are boys that I'd played with at boys club level. I'm loving playing with my old mates. And he's like, I know, but it's just not going to be right for you. You're going to waste your time. He says, but Ricky Waddle, obviously at the time I didn't know the gaffer. But I knew who the club were. I'd seen the social media stuff the season before, and obviously I'd seen Big Jack McDowell played here, who I used to play against when he was at Celtic. So I kind of knew a face right away. I was like, right, that's good. Jack McDowell's there, and I seen obviously Jamie Walker as well, who had played against at youth level. And he said, listen, Ricky's running daytime sessions, like basically just like one-to-one sessions with some of the French Edu lads and some of the boys that don't work like full-time, work part-time, college, whatever. He says, would you be interested in going? I says, absolutely. Like, can I get sorted out that right away? Gave me Ricky's number that night, and he was Ricky to me then. So obviously I didn't call Ricky. So I texted him that night. I says, hi Ricky, obviously I've been invited by Stevie to come down. He's like, come down Friday morning, and just for there, I was training Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday nights, and it just more and more and more at the point of pre-season. And as soon as like the first day of pre-season came, he'd already offered me to sign like the May or something like that. I'd only trained about 3 times. He says, listen, we want to sign you for next season, what do you think? And I still didn't know at that point, because I'd been offered a few places to go to, but how welcome he made me feel. And I felt home, because obviously going travelling to Forfar from Coatbridge, it was an hour and 40, and then coming down here it's 7 minutes. That's all it is. So being offered to play so close and be part of that North Lanarkshire is my council area, and part of that setup, I was like, absolutely, I'll sign for the season. So I think I'd signed the papers in the May, but obviously couldn't register me till the 1st of July, and then I signed and started pre-season and so on. It was just kicked on right for there.
Mm-hmm. Would you say sort of coming into the club, it'd be natural if you wanted to have those ambitions to get back into full-time football? Would you say that was sort of perhaps at the time maybe the goal? If things went another way, like, because we've seen obviously quite a few players come through, like Jamie, you've mentioned, getting his move was good, and Mark Kelly taking a step up division, and other players maybe thought Zach Butterworth, I'm sure he's on the radar. Would absolutely be aware of who he was.
Rhys Armstrong as well.
Rhys Armstrong doing really well too. So is that sort of the?
I think the first selling point was the hybrid full-time training scheme. I knew I had to do that. That was because I felt I wasn't training enough at Forfar. My dad was backing me as well. He's like, listen, don't worry about the money yet. He says, keep your hand in, training full-time. You're going to get there. And I believed that. Obviously, I was doing well enough at the time that I think if I had a full season or two, I'd have been chatting right on the doors up the way. But the first selling point was 100% the full-time training, and the fact that obviously the gaffer was the head coach. Like, I knew of him from youth level. He coached at Rangers when I was at Motherwell, and his teams were like bang at it. He had Billy Gilmore and like Dapple Mabudi, players like that, Josh McPake, like players that were at a right good level at Rangers. And I think if he's coaching them and he's took his hand in men's football, he's going to be good. So obviously banked on it. I just wanted to go and play full time every day, and it went for there. Like that was the selling point, the route to full time football, because I knew obviously the gaffer would have had contacts as well. And he was honest with me. He's like, listen, see if you come and do really well here, I'll have no problems with you going up the way and I'll help you do it. He says, because that's what this is about. He says, we both do well, we are happy that you helped the team do well, and so on. So that was the 100%, that was the deciding factor. It was like the full time and the route to full time, the full time training obviously, but in that sense, like that was really, really good for me.
Mm-hmm. And would you say obviously I feel like I already know the answers, but the relationship with Ricky as well, like coming in straight away, how important has he been? I mean, I remember, as you know, I interviewed for you, something I did at university, one of those things, and going through sort of the transcript for that month, times you mentioned the gaffer and how helpful he's been to you, and obviously transitioning to coaching now, like how important is that relationship with?
It was really good, obviously. Like we see each other 3 times a week, but we speak it basically every day. And it's funny, I made a joke to him the other night. I said, I speak to you when I speak to my family now, and it becomes that way because football is like a family when you get in. Obviously, we're tight knit in that coaching group. There's some coaching groups that the manager doesn't talk to the assistant, and the physio only comes in to do physio on the players. Whereas like we're in that office and we're all sharing the similar ideas and thoughts, and it really helps in that sense that you get an understanding and a collective thought that you're all going the right direction. Obviously, at the start of the season, we hadn't had Doreen in yet. I didn't know what I was going to be doing because obviously last season I wasn't really anything as such. I just did a general job of doing everything and helping out the youth team. But to know your first team coach and you've got proper collective group that believe in something, and we built a team. It wasn't like we bought a team, we built a team. That's the difference, and it's good knowing that. And the relationship with the gaffers now, obviously we're tight. We know we can trust each other for certain things, and he's put his faith in me to lead training sessions and take match day warm-ups, and we obviously go through team selection and all that. So to know that somebody obviously like that, who's at a right good level playing and now coaching, managing, is putting trust in you, is obviously sort of priceless. So I'm really grateful for that, and obviously thankful for his patience as well, because obviously I'm still learning and young, and there might be times I do things that he's critical of, there might be times that he goes, oh, that's good, I like that. So patience has been key, and obviously his support's been good as well.
Mm-hmm. And as well as that, would you say, just being here at the club, obviously we are doing this on the club's channel, so we're not just trying to fully promote us, but would you say it has a bit more of a feel like you sort of belong at this club? You know what I mean? Like, obviously see players bounce around, and I was talking with the gaffer recently about like someone like Daniel Martins, who's just been in and out like so many clubs, and no one sort of you see obviously how he's done. I think he's played every single match this season. I don't think he's missed a game, and sort of coming in and settling down somewhere. You feel that's something you've done here, and some guys have, and some guys have moved on obviously, but we've got a talented group in again, you'd have to say, I think.
100%. Like in terms of me being here, it now doesn't feel like it's not felt that for a while. You don't even need to question where I would be, and like people will maybe see the club differently because it is new, it's run different, it's media different, but if I wasn't happy I wouldn't be here, and everybody's in the same shoes. Like if you didn't enjoy it, why would you be somewhere if you didn't enjoy it? And that might sound really brutal, but it's true. Like the club's been good to me in terms of the support. I mean, not many club owners are texting you, asking you how you are after you've had a knock, or offering to take you out for your dinner, and taking you out for your dinner when end of seasons or maybe after surgery, stuff like that. And obviously like Chris is quite, you probably talk to him as well quite personally, but he's a personal enough person that he can have a relationship with you as well. So from the top down, everybody knows their sort of place and makes you feel comfortable. And I think I'm not comfortable, if that makes sense. I don't feel that's a good word to use, but I feel happy and settled in the sense that I enjoy my time here and I look forward to coming here, and now that's the thing about full time. I probably was quite not nervous, but like I didn't look forward to every day. I'd be like, oh God, I don't know if I really want to go here today. Whereas every time I come down here, I can't wait to get on the pitch and get the balls out, get the boys moving, start kicking the ball around. So even I'm still playing a wee bit in the possession stuff. I'll still try and get joined in. So see, just the enjoyment factor is great, and knowing you're enjoying yourself whilst being in a competitive atmosphere is amazing. Because sometimes the pressure can get to the point where it's just I want the result. But we're now really having fun with it, and we're trying, obviously looking forward to next season now. Not many clubs might be doing that now. Clubs who try to finish the season off high, we're already trying to plan. So that's another good aspect as well. It's a very quick moving place to be.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that's probably applied to quite a few of the players we've got in? As I mentioned before, it's a young squad. So, and you mentioned before sort of about that age gap. You might have been having that conversation recently where a lot of guys maybe just lost a little bit the way to COVID and how the reserve leagues went. And some of the guys we've been perhaps fortunate to get in as a result of that and keeping that group together. And it's a talented bunch this year. I mean, a lot of them are even younger than that. Like, I was taking the ages of all the guys when they were signing 2005s and 6s and all that. So it's a young group, and we'll say it quietly in case anyone's listening looking for players, but definitely a talented group. And is that sort of what the challenge is for you guys as a coaching team, of course, to develop that group and keep it together looking ahead to next season?
100%. Like, it's obviously you see the group, and you see like Robbie Stewart's playing for Scotland Schools, and we were talking about it the other day. Robbie Stewart, East Kilbride game, obviously as an example. He played against probably one of the best players in the league in Nathan Flanagan. Like, the guy's really good, known of him for years. Really tricky, talented winger, powerful.
I saw him at Raith Rovers a lot. Well,
so obviously you know yourselves a Raith fan. Like, the guy's a good player, and you're going, Robbie Stewart's 16-year-old schoolboy now. Robbie Stewart's a brilliant player. He played at St Mirren, so you're not knocking his pedigree. But at the end of the day, he's obviously 17 this year, but he's still a school. Well, he's 17 last year, sorry, he's 18 this year, but 06, so 16, 17-year-old boy, being mentally strong enough and physically and everything, he just dealt with it brilliant, and going, harness that boy's strength and integrity. You've got a right good player there, and Robbie's willing to learn, which is good. You get some players you see, they just stand on the blank, whereas our boys are really, all of them are good for it, but just Robbie's example there. But Martin McArthur deserves praise as well. He's been playing with our 20s team, so myself and Ross Patterson take that on a Friday night. Martin's the captain there. He's been playing there all season, and he's literally not moaned once. Now, took a few sore ones because we're a in and out team. There's some boys maybe play with the first team, and some under 18s boys can't make it, work commitments. It's fine, we get that. You can't be at every night at football, but Martin's played, I think he's missed one game through injury, and he's a warrior. He just battles through everything, runs like mad, and he's worked rate second to none, and I can't praise that high enough. So see, even just having that, his desires, for me, he's obviously one of his best attributes. So all these boys work hard every single night, and it's not a lazy group. It's not a group that only train when they feel like it. They're always on it, and noticing the difference for the start of the season as well, that boys are taking effort seriously rather than just messing around. Some of them came in, and obviously we had a lot of trialists at the start of the season, and you've seen like a few of the boys, you'll probably know who they are, but they came in as a pal group. It was quite weird. It was like a wee boy band. So they came in here and they were sitting, you're going, 3 or 4 of them just having a laugh, and down here to just say they play football, whereas 2 of them knuckled down and they're still here, and at the weekend they done well as well. So noticing the big improvement in boys' attitudes, and even just boys are grown up. It's good to see. I mean, Enzo Wright came in here as a wee shy school kid, and now he's trying to give me a cheek. So he'll need to be careful with that.
He's a good
he's a good lad. So no, it's just good to see the development in the boys as well. Obviously, I sound like an old head here, but been through the channels. I've been through the mill the past couple of years. Obviously, injury and in and out, and work and coaching. Obviously, it's been a weird transition for me, because there's still people in there that are older than me, and I'm telling them what to do in a sense, but they've took it well, and it's not a group that's telling me to leg it or whatever because I'm their coach. They've took it well, and they're willing to learn and listen, and they know that obviously I'm applying myself as best as I can.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like to sort of go into sort of maybe the final segment of this, now obviously starting your new career as a coach, when did you sort of make that decision? So looking at getting your second big injury time round, how did you make that decision to be, obviously you mentioned you sort of didn't get the surgery in the end, how difficult was that decision to make at the time?
So I got an appointment, so it was weird. So I got injured in September 2021, and I got a scan in NHS. The surgeon, Mr. Bailey, I'll give him a wee shout out as well, because like, he's been incredible with me for being NHS and being public service. He would phone me from personal mobile going, "You okay?" whatnot.
NHS,
they were good with me. Then obviously you hear some horror stories, and I can't say I've dealt with that. He had me in within a couple of weeks of getting the scan. I went up one night after training, crying, not knowing what I'd done to my knee, and I knew myself in my head there was something wrong, but I thought I'd done it again, but I got scanned and I told her I hadn't done it again. I'd injured some other part of my knee, and I thought, that's good, I'll maybe have dodged this. But I came back and trained, I never felt right, I always felt leggy, I tore a few muscles, and I'd never had injuries, like never had muscle injuries, never had any tears or squeaks or bangs in, nothing. And just obviously the ACL, it was clean ACL tear, had it fixed, fine. And I came back, I just couldn't seem to get fit. And then one day out there, I was doing an individual session with the gaffer and Jamie Walker. I went to just plant to volley a ball back to Jamie Walker. As I've turned, I just felt like a crunch. Scanned the next week, and I'd torn my ACL again. And I was like, how could I not have told it 2 months ago? I was training in January. Must have told it in September, 3-4 months ago. And
was that the same knee?
Same knee, and I get told I hadn't done it, and I was like, okay. But the second time, I had done it. So, and I got that news. I was like, something. I just knew something was just not right. So, spoke to Mr. Bailey again, and he's like, listen, they've tore it. I can see that, and I can feel it, and we'll put you on the waiting list for surgery. I'm going, waiting list? How long is it going to be? He's like, it could be a year to 18 months. So I'd done that in the January 2022. I didn't get a phone call till December 2022 for the January 2023. And he's like, listen, we're prepping you for this ACL surgery. That's been a year. Are you ready for it? And I says, can we come in for a consultation by any chance? He's like, absolutely, how would you? And I spoke, I says, listen, I don't know if I feel, it was probably more, I was being realistic, I don't know if I will mentally trust coming back again. And it wasn't being shy or nervous or timid, it was, I genuinely didn't know if I wanted to go back and endure that fear of getting injured again. And it would have been untrue to myself, my teammates, my family, the staff, whatever. It would have been untrue to everybody to go back and say I was going to be fine.
So maybe just in the back of your mind if you were playing the game. And,
I'd maybe tried to protect it and not played to my full ability. I didn't want that because I knew I'd have to be firing on all 4 cylinders to make sure I played properly, and that would also jeopardise. I was never going to be happy playing part-time football, to be honest, and I think I get some players can play at a very high level of part-time football, but I just thought full-time's where I want to be. So knowing that I probably wouldn't get to that, it became an easy decision through that. I just spoke with the gaffer, spoke with my family, spoke to the surgeon. I says, listen, I had torn my meniscus as well. I says, listen, we'll get the meniscus repaired because I needed that to walk and run, and just run straight lines. I said, we'll fix that, but ACL will leave it. And the surgeon actually went, I was going to tell you to just do that. I was like, why did you not tell me? But he says, listen, I didn't want to take a decision out of your hands. He says, but I think long term going forward, the problems it could leave you with if you do it again, or if it just gives you arthritis or whatever, he says, I think you made the right decision there. He says, and it's quite a mature decision to accept, not the fate of it, but like accept the circumstances that you've been dealt, that you can just go and step on. I told him, I think I'll just start coaching. He's like, oh, good idea. So it stemmed from there. It wasn't a tough decision in terms of a mental battle, or it obviously had a year to decide. So the more I was out of the game, the less I felt to get back into it. And I loved being involved in the game, but it wasn't like I wanted to leave football. I just knew that there was other things for me, which was obviously the deciding factor.
Mm-hmm. And then sort of being around the Braves still at that time, was there a while where you were just sitting out watching games on from where you were, and then when did that sort of move into helping out with the gaffer and
so I just went season by season. So the first season I signed as a player, obviously I got injured in September, I've still been a player up until January. Then when I get re-injured, I just ended up I just watched all the games for the stand for the rest of the season. I'd turn up and do my rehab sessions with Leanne, just hope I'd get back and whatever. Just watch the games as part of the squad, as if I was out the squad. And then that summer, it was just obviously the summer, end of the season, went on holiday, came back. Gaffer's like, what do you want to do? I was like, well, I don't know, because I've not had surgery. Am I going to be a player? And he's like, listen, we can get you in and you can just help out. We'll just keep your pay the same. They were good that way as well. And he said, listen, you can just help out with me if you want. Just help set up the drills, and on a match day make sure all the goals are pushed off, and help with the media. And cause obviously the old media team I used to commentate in some of the games and stuff, I was happy to do anything. I like this because I think, see if you can put yourself in good light and make sure you're keeping yourself obviously kind of out there and stuff. People know that if I want to do this, then you're doing something right, so's the club. People maybe hide away from it, and I can understand people are nervous or whatever in front of the camera, that's fine, but I think to myself, if I can help you guys out, I can help the club out, I can help myself out, it's a win-win for everyone. So with that, I just helped out the media, and then obviously the season after was, do you want to be first team coach? I was like, oh, no brainer. Yeah, absolutely. And at that time it was only me and the gaffer that were taking sessions, because obviously Doreen wasn't in and Ross was always mainly the goalkeeper. So straight for the off, I had Ross McNeil going, you're not a coach. And I'm like, well, I am, so we need to accept it. And he's been good with me as well, because Ross is obviously the comedian, but Ross's support's been good as well. Like, he makes sure that obviously the lads do their stuff right and stuff like that, even tidying up. They make sure that everything's done, so it's been good.
You make sure everyone's got ready for the answer to the question on the way out as well, so I appreciate that from Ross.
Regimented in it, so yeah. It's been good.
And then, so I was gonna kind of ask you. I think you kind of answered it there. But did you feel at your age, only 21, going in and obviously, coaching guys that a lot of them you've played with, a lot of them older than you, was that something you were a bit nervous about at all, or was it just something you jumped straight into? Yeah.
No, yeah. I never get nervous. I maybe get dubious of it and go, this could go one or two ways, but I'm never nervous because I back myself and I feel like I'm a pretty good talker and I'm confident enough in front of people. I like public situations. I think that's moulded me. Maybe as a younger, like my dad used to say to me, if I kicked the ball over the fence, go and ask him for it back. I'm like, oh no, but see, I had to just face the music and go and do it. I had to just go and do it. So over the years, you're having to get into the manager's office and chap their door and go, why am I not playing, or what's happening with this? So I think just putting yourself out there, you've got to do it. See, if you don't do something, you're never going to find out. And for me, obviously there's boys older than me and there's boys that I've played with, as you say. I've played with Jack Brown for 6 or 7 years and seamlessly went into it. Now they'll ask me as if I am their coach, but obviously I'm still maybe their age or younger, but they do. I am their coach and they know that now. It's not one of the ones who still see me as their mate. Like, obviously there has to be an element of a divide, not a divide, but there's got to be a line. So like they're in their changing room, they're in their group chats, whatever, that's fine. And we're obviously in the office, and you can have a bit of banter with them, you can be friendly with them, but at the end of the day, you're obviously there to make sure they get better and they're there to drive the standards forward. So the acceptance of the players has been great. Like, there's obviously boys that you think maybe would have been a bit cheeky with it and went, oh, shut it, whatever, but not, absolutely brilliant, and I think they support it as well because they understand this is all I physically can do, but it's also what I chose to do. So they've understood and accepted that decision.
Mm-hmm. And then as well as you coaching here, you've been doing your UEFA badges as well, that's right. So how have you found the experience of doing that? Recently completed
my C licence, yeah, my UEFA C. So it's been good. Obviously, the first one that sort of not introduced me to it, but opened my eyes to it was Mark Kelly when he played here. Because obviously he's been going through a lot of them. He does it at uni. So his is kind of fast track to, he's doing his B just now, I'm sure. He's moved on to his A. Mark's clued up on it, so knew Mark very well, and I spoke to him. He's like, listen, he says, even if you're not going to use it right away, do it, and you'll like. I understand now. I wish I had the experience of not the badges, but like the education within it when I was playing. Could see the understanding of why players do things, what they're thinking, where they're going to be. I've got a right good understanding now of how that works. Whereas when I was a player, I just played my own game. So it's gave me a great education and beyond football, like everything to do with a football club, everything to do. Obviously, I learned from here as well, but the education's been second to none. And I'd say the Scottish FA is pretty good in how they deliver it as well.
I mean, was there many people on that course like your age, or like guys, let alone coaching first team football? Was that sort of a thing?
It's a tough one because there's a lot of people that coached at clubs, but like maybe not to maybe taking like 14s teams and 16s teams, yeah. But there was the only person on it, my partner, so you get partnered up on the day. So the phase 1 and 2 is online, you learn online modules and you learn the principles and stuff and the styles of play. Then you go away and you do like a portfolio. You have to list it all out, and it's a big hard paper copy, 40 pages. But you go and do your phase 3, which is an in-person assessment. My partner on the day, Craig Mays, he takes his son's team up. He stays up Bowness direction. He was really good because he'd played at a level. So he hadn't been coaching a lot, but he was coaching when he was younger, but he works on the oil rig. So yet again, another person I could vibe with in terms of working and coaching, the balance. But you had Celtic Hearts manager Michael Tidser. I'm quite close with him now. So he was on the CIS as well. But I would say in my group, those 3 people, me, Craig and Tids, were the kind of top ones that had played at a level and coaching at a good level. Obviously, the boy Craig, my partner, he was really good with me because you had to get assessed on 2 bits of a session, so would they, so you had to flow straight over. So we'd planned it ourselves at lunch times and whatnot, so it was great. And there was obviously folk on it that were just wanting to do it so they could coach their boys' team. I could see that a mile away, and that's fine, fair enough, but obviously my ambition's higher than that, so it was good to know what not to do as well, because you could have went onto that and coached with 10 coaches who are elite UEFA coaches and not learned a thing in terms of what not to do, rather than just what to do. So I think that was good to see what the guys that were sort of assessing it think is a good coach and think it's a bad coach. So that was really, like obviously in November there, that's when I done it, the first 2 weeks in November, and it's opened my eyes a wee bit more in terms of what they do like. And everybody's opinion's different as a good coach. You see, I was talking to somebody at the weekend, they were saying about Ange Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers, the difference in the two characters, and they are very different, but they're both very good coaches. So it can just be down to what somebody thinks is a good coach. I mean, somebody's face might not be the right fit for Celtic, but it might be the right fit for Liverpool. Like that, obviously you see Klopp leaving now as well, and I think the manager will be completely different next one, because obviously Klopp's a big loving character, and I think Liverpool need to give him a more stern approach. And in my opinion, I think Ange is right up there with that now, in the sense that people actually took note and went, this guy's actually really good. But I obviously went off track there. But
not turning into a Celtic podcast, is it?
No, absolutely not. But I just think coaching's football is opinionated, so coaching's obviously going to be opinionated. Some folk won't like certain people, and some folk, well, it's just the way of life, isn't it?
And then, sort of just an overview look at it. So, what would you say you've enjoyed about coaching? Because I mean, coming into the club myself, I met you when you were here, and always such like a positive guy, I'd have to say. You know, around match days and stuff like that. How have you kept so positive? And it does seem like you obviously love coaching now. Yeah. Like, did you expect that? And what is it that you found in coaching that you've really enjoyed?
I just like football. It sounds very, very broad, but football for me it's now obviously it's like instilled, and it's never going to leave me, and I need to be involved in it. It's not a choice, but it's something that I need to do to make sure I enjoy my life the most. And you get a break at the summer and you go, God, there's no football, but it's as it sounds, it's brilliant. And coaching for me is now just the extension of playing. Like, it's what you do when you finish playing. It might not be for some people get into telly or another job or sports or whatever, but I just felt it was a seamless way to go and keep my enjoyment factor up. And I think just pushing on, really, I like developing, so I go to the gym as my physical thing, and the kind of developmental side of the gym is, can you get up the weight, can you cut, can you build this, etc. So I think development for me is what pushes me on, rather than achieving like a gold medal. I think the development of getting better all the time, learning, making sure the team's better, making sure the boys are better. I mean, I'll get in and have a chat, like Josh Gemmell, like last night, oh, you've been on my case. I'm like, I'm not, I'm just wanting you to get better. And he went, oh really? Like, see, when these boys understand that, they kind of smile as if they say, you want me to get better. So I think just things like that as well make me happy. See, if I know I can make these lads 10% better, I'm willing to do whatever I can to do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as well as that, would you sort of say you've enjoyed maybe having a bit more sort of control of what you can do, how you can control, obviously there's not much to do about injuries, but even being as a player, you've got to rely on 10 other guys on the park, so can you sort of enjoy that?
That was going to be one of my kind of points. It's not the control, but it's like the knowing that you can affect it more. So like, obviously if I'm control's probably the word, but I can take the session and give out the kind of info to, I've got a squad of 24 or something now, so there's maybe 15 training last night, I think. So if we can go, these 15 players are receptive to what you're doing and they're wanting to learn. It feels good knowing that 15 players have of the ability and of the mindset to go and do the thing you can put out. Whereas, as you say, the player, you're one of those 15, so you can only do it individually in that 15 what you can do, whereas individually you're helping the 15. So yeah, that's 100% you're right with that one. Like, that's exactly another enjoyment factor. Mm-hmm.
And sort of just to finish this up here, because I feel like we've gone into some good detail on all this. Where would Cole Stars want to be sort of the next maybe 5-10 years?
5-10 years.
Looked ahead, yeah.
As a broad answer, working at the highest possible level in football. Love my job as well, but I think most obviously guys that love football, if you get offered a job in football and whatnot, you're going to want to take it. You know yourself, if you were offered a job today at the highest possible full-time level, you're going to be involved in it. And that's not to say that you don't like your work or whatever, but like the lifestyle and it's not even the lifestyle, it's just the knowing that you're doing something you really love every day. I think working at the highest level, full-time coaching as I possibly can is in sight, hopefully. Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully going up with the Braves as far as we can as well, of course.
Take the Braves, that's a good point as well. Like the Braves, I think we can go and push. So listen, the Braves could turn into a full-time club, why not? If we go and push and we do well enough, that could be the possible highest level that I could work at as well. So there's absolutely no chance of cutting that off. Like we're obviously next season we're having chats, but we want to go and do well. So that's 100% within the sight as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we look forward to seeing how that all goes, and I'll say thank you for your time here, Cole. It's been really interesting to get a bit of your story in there, and thank you for everyone else for watching in for this episode here.